Hi guys, it's Sam from Raggedy Bits. I just thought I'd jump on here and share with you a fun way to get rid of some scrap wood and make some cute little stamped Valentines block signs, which you can put on your shelves, give as gifts, all that sort of stuff. So we're just going to be using up, it's a great way to use up scrap pieces of wood. So I've just grabbed 3 of these from my scrap wood pile, and we're going to use the colours Dixie Belle Cotton and soft pink. So let's get started. The IOD typesetting lowercase stamp. So if you're using your stamp for the very first time, just make sure that you get some 120 grit sandpaper, and just in a sanding block, just go over your stamp backwards and forwards to rough it up a little bit. That way it just opens the pores up a little bit on your stamps to get all your paint or your ink, whichever medium you're using, into the stamp, so you get a nice crisp image. So what I've done is I haven't cut these to size just yet until I figure out, I sort of played around and worked out what words I was going to put on here. But what I've sort of done, with this one I'm going to have Be Mine, but because obviously you only get one letter in each stamp, I've just gone ahead and spaced them out on each wooden piece. Just to make sure that everything finished. This word here is going to be cherished, and what I've done to kind of get it to fit a little bit is I've just sort of like moved the lettering up and down a little bit to get the whole word to fit on this piece of scrap wood. Okay, so once I know that I'm happy with that and I've got my words all picked out, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly give them all a coat of paint. So I'm just going to use cotton. I'll probably paint 2 white and 1 pink. And I'm just using my little, this is a great little brush, my Klingon S30 for all your little smaller projects. I haven't sanded them. I don't know if you can notice there's a little bit of a groove in the wood. It's just a scrap piece of pine radiata timber kind of thing. And I'm going to leave that in there because I'm hoping that it'll add a little bit of texture. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on. Cotton is the brightest white in the Dixie Belle chalk mineral paint. Now we'll just quickly finish off the ends and dry those off too. Next up, I'm just going to distress these a little bit to my liking. Depending on what sort of look you're after, you can leave them as they are, or you know, distress them really hard. It's entirely up to you, but I'm just going to go ahead and distress. Now that I've got my letters all lined up onto my blocks, I'm just going to go ahead now and one by one stamp them. So I've just got my little IOD braille here, and I'm going to use black ink today, but if you wanted more of a soft sort of a tone to your stamping, you could most definitely get away with using the grey as well. So I'm just going to pop a little bit out. You can also just have your stamp pad loaded up. Okay, so you just load your brayer up. Like so. And then grabbing, I'm going to use the gridded transfer film today so that I can line up the stamps correctly when I put them back onto the block. You just go over the top of that, drop that down. Please excuse my terrible fingernails. I haven't had a chance to have a little bit of me time and go and get them done with moving house and the shop, so it's been busy. So then you just take that, move that away, and then load up your stamp like so. And then line that up again to the corner, and then drop. One hand always on the transfer film so that you don't get that sort of mirrored look, and then pull off. And then you just go back over where you've had the letters missing. You can use the transfer film again for it, but for me I'm just going to freehand. Like so. And just pop that over there to dry, and then I'm just going to continue on with the rest. All dry, I'm just going to distress them a little bit further just so that they're not sticking out so much, and I want to sort of bring a bit more of that natural wood behind the words. So I'm just going to distress these a little bit harder. You don't have to, it's all up to your own taste and what you like. You could leave them flat if you wanted to. So I've just got some Dixie Belle clear wax, Best Dang wax here, and I'm just loading up my brush, wax brush, and I'm just going to go to town and give them a little bit of a wax. This just helps to protect them so that you can even pop these outside if you wanted to decorate outside. I wouldn't suggest putting it out in the elements, but underneath the porch or something like that. Okay, so for the messy bow, I've just got some various bits of lace, ribbon, and even some pink butcher's twine here. And for this size messy bow, I'm going to probably cut it, I've started to cut it out at about 7 centimeters long, and you cut out 2 of each of the ribbon or the lace, whatever you're going to use, and you start to sort of crisscross them across each other. Oops. This is a fun way to kind of like add a little bit of depth to whatever you're working on. And then you kind of just like build it up. And the more you use, obviously the more messy and fluffy your bow is going to be. With it, I've just got a little vintage button here that I'm going to use to cover up the knot part. Just pop some glue onto the back of the bow like so, and then place onto your sign along with your little button. You could use jewels if you wanted to, wherever your imagination takes you. Okay, and then we have a messy bow for your Valentine's sign.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just